So the 2024 US presidential election is at the door, and so the former President Donald Trump attended the 11th hour religious leaders gathering in North Carolina. You know, many SDAs believe that Donald Trump is going to win because he is going to fulfill Bible prophecy by giving power back to the church. Giving power to the church. But there are some other SDAs that really don't care, that really don't believe that Donald Trump is going to fulfill Bible prophecy, you know. But friends, before I go on to share with you the video by Donald Trump asking for Christians to vote for him, I want to say a very big shout out to Michaela. You know, Michaela is less than 15 years old who lives with her parents in Georgia. She loves the Lord, and she's going to have her birthday next month, you know. So I pray God's blessings upon her life. All right, so friends, without wasting much time, let's get right into the video by Donald Trump, and let's listen to what he actually said to the Christian leaders and to all Christians living in the United States. Let's watch it, friends.
But as I look back at my life's journey and events, I now recognize that it's been the hand of God leading me to where I am today. Thank you. And my faith took on new meaning on July 13th in Butler, Pennsylvania, where I was knocked to the ground, essentially, by what seemed like a supernatural hand. And I would like to think that God saved me for a purpose, and that's to make our country greater than ever before. In our movement, we love Christians, we welcome believers, and we embrace followers of Jesus. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. But at Trump rallies, we don't tell Christians to get lost. We tell Christians to get out and vote. So I'm here tonight to deliver a simple message to Christians across America. It's time to stand up and save your country. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. On November 5th, Christian voters need to turn out in the largest numbers ever. Do you know that if you did that, because you have a reputation of not voting proportionately like you should, you do know that. I think that maybe is a form of rebellion. Could that be possible? If they did, or if Christians did, nobody could ever beat us, nobody. And I think it's very important for the people in this room to know, like Dr. Ben Carson knows, Americans of faith are not a threat to our country. Americans of faith are the soul of our country, right? Early voting is underway, so you know what you have to do. So Christians, get everyone you know and vote. You have to vote, or we're not going to have the life that we should have, a life of prosperity and hope, because it was our religion that kept our country together for many years. It was our religion that kept it together, and they're trying to take that away, and they're trying to destroy our country. After all we have been through together, we stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. With your help, from now until Election Day, we will redeem America's promise. We will put America first, and we will take back the nation that we love.
That was the former president, Donald Trump. He is asking Christians to vote for him, so that Christians can take back their country. Christians can take back their country, All right. So now, you know what? Ben Carson was also right there. He was also there. He celebrated the meeting with the Christian leaders. And let us go ahead and listen to what Ben Carson also said right there at the 11th hour religious leaders gathering. Let's listen to Ben Carson.
Thank you. Thank you so much, and thank you all for being here and for being patriots. This election is not about Democrats and Republicans. This election is about whether we are a secular nation or are we one nation under God. And it was a long time ago, but Benjamin Franklin, when he came out of that Constitution Hall after vigorous arguments over how our nation was going to be run, he was asked, "Sir, what do we have here? A monarchy or a republic?" And he said, "A republic, if you can keep it." We've kept it for 240 years, but we're as close to losing it right now as we have ever been at any point in time. We have a Department of Justice that's being used by the party in power to persecute and prosecute their political opponents, something you would expect in Russia or China or Banana Republic, occurring blatantly right in our country. And interestingly enough, we have somebody who's running for president who recently said in a crowd when somebody said, "Jesus Christ is Lord," that you're in the wrong crowd. Think about that. In Matthew 12:34, it says, "Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh." She didn't have time to think about what she was going to say. She just said what's in her heart. So maybe she's the one who doesn't belong. Maybe that's what we should be thinking about. The other thing that's very disheartening right now is you hear the term frequently, disinformation. That is laying the groundwork for censorship. And we should recognize all of these things that are coming down the road here and how they try to demonize President Trump. Why do they do that? Because they can't really criticize his policies because they know they worked. So now they have to go and say that he's the worst thing since Hitler. And there's a lot more coming because they will do anything to stop him. They've tried everything so far. But here's the thing. As it says in Romans 8, if God be for you, who can be against you? And all of us at this time just have to have the courage to stand. President Trump has courage, but he needs us to be behind him and to think logically and Also, we all have to fight our personal battles. We have to win our war of 1812. What do I mean by that? Proverbs 18:12. It says, before destruction, the heart of man is haughty, and before honor is humility. And we have to submit ourselves to the power of God. Our nation rose from a bunch of ragtag militiamen to the pinnacle of the world because we were people of faith. And there are those who are trying to get us to give that up. Recognize that in the last election, 20 million evangelical Christians did not vote. And most of the close elections in the swing states were determined by thousands of votes, not millions of votes. Think about the power that exists in the people who believe in God. We don't have to be victims. We don't have to complain. We can absolutely control the direction of our nation, but we have to get involved to do it and recognize that we have a responsibility. Now, I know there are a lot of Christians who say, both sides are corrupt and I don't want to be involved in a corrupt system. I don't want to have to choose between the lesser of two evils. Well, unless Jesus Christ is on the ballot, you're always choosing between the lesser of two evils. And lastly, I just want to say, you know, when I was running for president against Donald J. Trump, at one of the debates, when we were being announced, I couldn't hear my name. All the other candidates walked past me. He came and stood beside me until they rectified the situation. He stood beside me at a time of confusion, and I guarantee you, he will stand beside you and the United States of America in this time.
But friends, personally, I believe that the fulfillment of Bible prophecy is not dependent on any political party or on any leader. That is what I believe. You know, God can use anybody, any political party to fulfill prophecy. So I don't really care whether Donald Trump wins or Kamala Harris wins. Bible prophecy will be fulfilled no matter who wins. Yes. But before I go away, friends, let us look at some statements by Ellen White concerning church and state. You know, we all understand that church and state, they must not come together. That is what we all understand. But it looks like Donald Trump wants to give power back to the church, wants to unite the church and the states, which shouldn't be. All right, but let's go ahead and look at what Ellen G. White says about this church and state issue. All right, so this is coming from The Great Controversy, page 297. It says, the union of the church with the state, be the degree never so slight, while it may appear to bring the world nearer to the church, does in reality but bring the church nearer to the world. Let's get to another one. And this is coming from SDA Bible Commentary, volume 4, page 1168. It says, the mingling of churchcraft and statecraft is represented by the iron and the clay. This union is weakening all the power of the churches. This investing the church with the power of the state will bring evil results. Men have almost passed the point of God's forbearance. They have invested their strength in politics and have united with the papacy. But the time will come when God will punish those who have made void his law, and their evil work will recoil upon themselves. So this is a very powerful statement, and not only powerful, it is a true statement. Friends, a true statement. Let's get to this one, Signs of the Times, November 8, 1899. It says, when the state shall enforce the decrees and sustain the institutions of the church, then will Protestant America have formed an image of the papacy. Then the true church will be assailed by persecution, as were God's people in ancient times. Almost every century furnishes instances of what human hearts, controlled by rage and malice, can do under a plea of serving God by protecting the rights of the church and state. The Protestant churches that have followed in the steps of Rome by forming alliance with worldly powers have manifested a similar desire to restrict liberty of conscience. How many nonconformist ministers have suffered under the power of the Church of England? Persecution always follows a restriction of religious liberty on the part of secular governments. Friends, did you hear that? So, when we see this kind of union between church and state, it should actually tell us something, friends. So I want to pause here and let you also come in with your comments. You know, your comments are always cherished. Your comments are always important, you know. So let me also know your thoughts on this video by former President Donald Trump, by Dr. Ben Carson, and the idea about the union between church and state. All right, so this is all that I had to share with you today. Again, a very big shout out to Michaela, who lives in Georgia. All right, so Michaela and her family, a very big shout out to you. Thanks for watching, friends. God bless.